Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I will teach you how to add session-based authentication to your Nest.js API. What this type of authentication does is to create sessions in your server's memory store after a user has successfully logged into the application. So the session ID will be sent back to the user's browser and stored in a cookie. Upon a subsequent request, session ID in the user's cookie will be validated against session IDs in the server. If a match is found, the request will be considered valid and the user will be granted access to the resources. So to achieve all of this, we'll be using the Passport and the Express session module to create and authenticate user sections. So if you find this video interesting, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Without much delay, let's get started. To get started, ensure you have Node.js and npm installed on your computer. With that said, let's install the Nest.js CLI. So right here on my terminal, I'm just going to zoom this in a little bit. The command is npm install-g nest.js/cli. So I have this already installed. If you haven't done that already, hit the return key to get it installed. And let's create a new project. Next new, let's call this session auth. Then for the package manager, we'll use npm. Then let's give it some time to install and then scaffold the project. The project has installed successfully. Now let's change directory to the project folder and then open this up on VS Code. So right here on VS Code, I'm going to first of all open the VS Code terminal. I'm going to close all of this. Then here we are going to create a new module. Let's create an auth module. Auth. So here in the auth module, as you can see here, let's create an auth service. nps nest g service auth. So have our auth service. Here in the auth service, we'll create a class variable which will be used in our database. So up here, let's define an interface for this. We are going to be expecting the email, it's going to be of that string, and then the password. Password. So this is going to be user interface array. Then here you're going to create a constructor method. Now in the constructor method, we are going to add some dummy data to the users array. Let's add email. gmail.com, and then the password. So you can replace this by connecting to a database and then fetching the users from there. So let's add a sign up method. So here in the sign up method, we are going to take the email of the user. It's going to be string and the password. So going to be a string. So here we're going to return all the users that has been created. So it's going to be an array of users. So we are going to say dot users dot push. Then we're going to push the user email and password. Then we're going to return this dot users. So with this done, let's add another method to verify a user. Let's verify user. Verify user by email, password. then this will return the user or no. So here we're going to say user supposed to this dot users dot find. Here we'll use the arrow function to return the user that matches the email, whose email matches the email provided, and the password matches the password provided. Then we're going to check if the user exists. So if user does not exist, we're going to return null. Yes, we're going to return the user. So now we have the sign up and the verify user method implemented. Let's create a controller to add the sign up and a login route. So to do that, we're going to use the Nest.js generate command, generating a controller. Here in the Auth controller, let's create the sign up route. To do that, we need few decorators. We need the post decorator, the body decorator. Also need to import the port service. There, we're going to have a constructor to it. We're going to inject the Auth service. Now, let's create a post endpoints for the sign up routes. So here in the sign up method, we're going to use the body decorator to pass the request payload to get the user email. Then user's password. Here we're going to return dot service dot sign up. Then we're going to pass on the email and of course the password. Let's start the server. Yeah, everything works. Let's open up Postman. So here on Postman, we're going to send a request to the URL localhost for 3000 auth, sign up, and this is going to be a post request. Here in the request body, you're going to send a raw JSON data. Here we're going to have the email, it's john@gmail.com. Password. So let's test this out. So now you can see John has been added to the array of users. So now let's go ahead and install the necessary modules that we need to implement the session-based authentication. Here on the terminal, I'll use Ctrl+C to quit the server. I'll install this Express session. Need passports, passport local. Then we need to install the types for these modules as a dev dependency. Install --save as dev. Passport. passport logo, then express session. Next, we need to install one more module, which is the Nest.js passport module. So let's do that. Nest.js passport. Now let's create a local strategy file. So call this auth.strategy. Yes. And here we're going to import the passport strategy. And the strategy should be from local. Then we need the auth service. And then lastly, we need to import injected. Here, let's create a local strategy class. So extend passport strategy. So yeah, we're going to have a constructor method. So we're going to call the super method. So by default, when a user hits the login endpoint, passport local strategy expects the username and the passport field to authenticate the user. So, but we can modify that since we're using our email to authenticate our user. So we can change the username field to email. So now instead of using the username field, we'll be using the email field. This field to authenticate our users. Local strategy takes in a validate method, which is used to authenticate the user. So, taking the email, password. So it's going to turn the user. Then here you're gonna user also. Okay, let's bring in our auth service. So here we're gonna say auth service does verify. So passing the email and the password. So if user is not found, let's import unauthorized insertion. So if user is not found, we're going to throw new unauthorized. So you can say incorrect username or password. Is going to return the user. Okay, yeah, so need to import the user interface. Okay, so for this to work, let's go back to the auth module. Here in the auth module, we're going to import the local strategy. But strategy also needs to import the passport module. Then here we're going to import add imports. So here in the imports, we're going to add the passport module register method, and we're going to enable session. Then the array of providers, we're going to add the local strategy. So everything is set up now. Let's start the server. Okay, so back to the Auth controller. Let's now add our login method. So here we're going to import the use cards decorator. So import Auth card decorator. So we're going to also create another post endpoint. This time around is going to be a login endpoint. So need the request decorator. So here in our login method, we're going to use the request decorator to get the user that is logged in. So I'm going to return request user. Then to enforce the authentication, I'm going to use the use cards, auth cards, and then specify the strategy is local. Now let's get things formatted. Okay, back to the browser. Sorry, back to Postman. So since we have refreshed the server, this user is no longer existing. So let's create the user again. Okay, and now let's log in this user. So everything works now. This user have been authenticated successfully. So let's try login user that does not exist. So as you can see, you have incorrect username or password. We've been able to authenticate the user, but no session was generated for this user yet. Let's go ahead and implement that. So here in the Auth module, we're going to create a local auth guard.ts file. Here we'll import so need execution context. There we need the auth guard. Let's create and export our local auth guard class, which extends the auth guard. Then we specify the strategy, which is local. Then we're going to have a can activate method. So here, I'm going to say results. Okay, to get rid of this. Results cost weight of the super methods dot can activate text in the context. So return this as boolean. Then say request to the context dot switch http dot get requests. Now to log in the user and generate the session, the super method dot login, and then send the requests. This requests. I will turn the results. So this is an async function. So async. Yeah. So now back to the auth controller. So instead of using the auth guard here, yeah, we're going to put our local auth guard. So we're going to use our local auth guard to authenticate our user and generate a session. So for all of this to work, we need to modify our main.ts file. So we need to import passports. Yeah, passport. So we need to import the express session. So here we're going to use this middleware dot use. So we're going to use session. We're going to pass in the secrets. So this secret should be stored in a .env file, then loaded into the Nest.js application. But for this video, I'm just going to pass in some random string here. So don't do this in a production app because it's not safe. So we're going to have receive, set receive to false, and then lastly how to save on initialized. So set this to false. So down here we need to use passports dot initialize and passport dot session. So one more thing, we need to create a session serializer class. So I'm going to call the session dot serializer .ts file. Here we need to import the passport serializer. We need to import injectable and to import the user instance. And let's create the session serializer class. So this will extend the passport serializer class. So the session serializer class takes in two methods, the serialize method and then the serialize method. So let's tweak this a little bit. So here we're going to take in the error, just of type error, and then user, just of user instance. So it's an error function, no return nothing. Then here we're going to go done. So passing now on user. Then back to the deserializer. So I'm gonna tweak this a little bit. Okay, here we're taking a payload. That many. So right here we're gonna call done, and then now on the payload. So we are now set to generate and create sessions for our login users. Back to the Auth module. Let's import that. And then in our array of providers, we're going to add session serializer class. Okay, yeah. So now back to Postman. Let's sign up this user again. And then let's log in the user. So at this point, you can see that our user has successfully been logged in. And here in the cookie, a session has been generated for this user. So you can see that here. Now, when this user makes a request, so this server again, the session ID will be sent alongside the request, and then it will be validated against the one that is stored in the server. Let's see how that works by creating an authenticated guard class. So we'll do that right here in the Auth module. So create authenticated.guard.ts file. Here we'll import and activate. And we need injectable, and we need the execution context. Now let's create the class. So we're going to call the class authenticated guard. So this class will implement can activate. So here we're going to say create a can activate method. Let's get rid of this. So request. So go to context, switch to http.get requests. So here we are going to return request dot is authenticated. Okay, don't need this here. So now back to our Auth controller. Let's add another route. So this should be a get route. Let's bring in the get decorator. So let's call this profile. So here I'm gonna use guards, then import authenticated guard. Okay, I want to use authenticated guard to protect these routes. So here in the profile method, use the request decorator, get the current logged in user. Then let's return message here. You are an authorized user. So maybe user quest.user. So now let's try to access this profile endpoint in Postman. So we are not logged in yet. So as you can see, I have a tray forbidden. So let's try login. First of all, let's sign up. Okay, so signed up. Let's log in. Now let's try to set the profile point. Bam. So as you can see here now, it says you're an authorized user. So that means our authentication works. Our user have been able to be authenticated and then verified by application. So finally, let's add another endpoint to log out the user. So this will be a post endpoint. So and we'll log out endpoint. So we now have a logout method. Logout method also use the request decorator to get the current login session. So yeah, we're going to say quest.session.destroy. And let's go ahead and return message. Your session has been destroyed. So let's check this out. Now let's log out. So here, session has been destroyed. Now let's try accessing the profile endpoint again. So now the session has been destroyed. We don't have access to the resources anymore. So that's it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification icon for more videos like this.